Welcome to Retro Gaming Online, and this is a new series where we're going to beat all of the old Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Genesis games that you used to love back in the day. But we're going to start it off with Jaws for the NES. Now, this game's kind of special to me because I used to play it at my aunt's house all the time when I used to spend the night over there. Could never beat it back then, but today I'm going to show you how to beat it in about 12 minutes. So the game basically is in two different phases. One is the overworld, which you saw, and then the second one is this kind of side-scrolling underwater section where you try to destroy these stingrays, these jellyfish. You'll also later see tiny sharks, and then you'll see Jaws himself. The other thing to keep an eye on are the power-ups that drop. Those shells, those are your currency, basically. Those are what are used to purchase upgrades for not only your tracking of Jaws, but the power of your harpoon against Jaws. The crabs, they just really do a speed boost, so you want to get those as quickly as you can because that makes a pretty big difference. And then the stars are just for points, so you don't have to really go out of your way to grab those. But basically, this game is a lot of rinse and repeat. You're gonna go into the water levels. You're going to kill enemies, you're going to collect shells, and then you're going to go back and forth between two ports. And these ports are where you're going to get your upgrades. So you'll see in a minute, when I go to the first port, it's going to get me the tracker, and that's going to start beeping when Jaws is nearby. After that, you go back to the starting port, you'll get your first power upgrade to power 2. And then from there, you'll just keep bouncing back and forth until you get enough power to defeat Jaws. For me, that's 3 or 4 powers usually when I start to look for Jaws. Otherwise, I'm kind of avoiding him. But some of the keys here, you'll see the baby Jaws here. He drops a shell. Now, after you kill him early in the game, it'll just end the level usually, and then you get to do this bonus where you drop bombs on jellyfish from an airplane. It seems kind of crazy, but yeah, so you just keep flying back and forth, dropping bombs. For every 3 that you kill, you get a shell. So it's a good way to boost up your shell count when you're trying to level up early in the game. It's a lot of luck, or at least for me it's a lot of luck. I'm not very good at it, so I just spam them. You can only drop 3 bombs at a time, so it kind of makes it a little more difficult. But after a few waves of jellyfish, you'll see it end, and you'll go back to the overworld. Alright, so here I'm going to try to make my way to the first port. Now you do need a certain amount of shells in order to upgrade. So the Jaws tracker costs 3 shells. And after that they increase for every power-up that you get. And we'll talk about that a little later. So here I'm just going to keep collecting shells. Really, the point of this is just don't die. Like, the closer you are to the bottom, the more dangerous it can be. Because those jellyfish pop out of nowhere sometimes. So you'll get plenty of opportunity to get shells, so don't put yourself at risk in order to get a shell. As you can see, I try to stay to the top. Sometimes I find myself lingering at the bottom before I realize it and head back up towards the top. So we're going to come in here. This is where we're going to get our tracker, so that's going to cost 5 shells. Now we head all the way back to the beginning where we'll try to get our first power-up. So we'll get our first power-up to level 2. That's going to cost us 3 shells. And now again, we're going to head back to where we got the tracker, and that's where you're going to get the next upgrade. And there you can see Jaws chasing us. So now we have our power level 3 and we only have 2 shells left. We actually need 7 shells in order to get the next upgrade. So we're going to head that way, see if we can collect a few more shells. This game is totally random as far as like when you get sent underwater to fight to do this. It can be way too often, or it could be infrequent enough to where you don't have enough shells. So that can be kind of frustrating. But like I said, just take it slow and steady. This isn't a race. As long as you have enough shells to get the next upgrade, that's really all you need. Because if you die, you not only lose half of your shells, but you also lose the tracker and one of your power-ups. So you have to go back and get the tracker, and you have to pay for another power-up. So that can be a real setback. Another thing to keep in mind is if you hit something when you're along the coast, you'll be in shallow water, which is really dangerous because you don't have a lot of room to maneuver. It's usually fine, like I said, if you take it slow, take it easy, but it gets really dangerous when you run into Jaws in shallow water, because then there's just a lot going on the screen in a small amount of space, and it can get really dangerous. So we have enough shells now. Every once in a while you'll get a fast one like that. You want to go ahead and kill that because he's going to keep coming back and back and back until you actually get rid of him. I usually don't see 2 of them in one level. That's pretty unique. So as you progress, you'll start to see variations in the enemy. For instance, like the jellyfish will go diagonal. They'll actually like come at you. So that makes things a little more difficult. Let's see if we can get some bonus shells here. I don't really think we need more shells than we have, because I can do Jaws with power level 4, and that's what we'll be at once we get to this port. So most likely I'm just going to power up to level 4 and then try to find Jaws. But it doesn't hurt to get a few extra shells if you need it. But yeah, there's a lot of interruptions in this game that can get a little frustrating when you're ready to do what you need to do, but you keep getting stopped by, hitting stuff or these bonus levels. They just kind of add time. So here we got 4 extra shells, which is more than enough. We're going to go in here. See, this is where you hit something shallow. And as you can see, now we have the diagonal jellyfish. So if you were to throw Jaws and maybe one of the little Jaws is in here, it can really cause some havoc. Now, I mentioned in the bonus levels you can only have 3 bombs on the screen at one time, and that is the same when you're underwater. You can only have 3 harpoons in the air at once. So the closer the enemy is to you, the faster you can shoot, because the harpoons, they despawn when they hit something. So getting close to an enemy can be beneficial if you can do it without dying. Alright, so here we go. We got power level 4. I think what I'm going to do is if you just go out into the open water and then sit still, you'll generally run into Jaws. He'll find you. So let's get through this. Like I said, it can be kind of annoying when these screens constantly spawn on you and you're trying to get something done. I'm not really looking to go get the power-ups at this point. I really just want to survive so that I can get to Jaws. Alright, so let's get out in the open, and then I'm just going to hang tight. Oh, there he is. That was easy enough. Now here, you can actually attack him with your ship before he touches you, so that's a good way to do a ton of damage. Now, a trick here, if you get to the very top of the screen and then swim down like 1 pixel, you can shoot Jaws, but he can't hit you, and neither can those stingrays. You still need to be careful because the jellyfish can hit you, and the small sharks can hit you as well, So you just want to make sure you're careful and paying attention, even though Jaws himself can't actually hit you. And so now we're just going to just keep shooting him. I don't think I'm going to get him down on this page, on this like level, so I'll probably have to have him find me again. And so he's going to end with 4 health, but by the time I see him next, he's going to have regenerated some of his health. Each level you do in between Jaws allows him to gain some of his health back. So the key is, once you get him down like this, you got to get back and get at him as quickly as you can. And again, I'm not really trying too hard on this. Just want to get through it. Because as long as I don't die, I should be able to down Jaws on this next section. After you down Jaws, you go into another mode, which is when you try to finally defeat Jaws, and it's known as the most difficult part of the game, honestly. So I'm going to hang tight until Jaws comes back. There he is. I'm going to pelt him with these bombs. We're going to get to the top and then come down 1. Wait for him to line up, and then we're just going to just unleash on him. You hit that button as fast as you possibly can. And like I said, the closer you stay to him, the more damage, the more you can do damage quickly. But again, you want to avoid everything else coming at you. Alright, so here's the next phase. Now, Jaws is going to be swimming towards you, and you have to use your strobe when he gets to that very last line, and then hit the B button to hit him. Just like that. Oh, that is the first time I've actually beaten him on the first try. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and leave us a comment below telling us whether you've ever beaten Jaws, and what game you'd like to see us beat next.